Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. So, on today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to lose your friends on a budget. So, if you're looking to lose your friends for not very much money at all, well, this is the episode for you. So, the commander that's going to help us do this is a brand new one and a very exciting one with Mimeoplasm Revered One. A 0/0 ooze for X insult type colors. As it enters, exile 2 X creature cards from your graveyard. It enters with 3 counters on it for each creature card exiled this way, and by paying 2, it becomes a copy of target creature card exile with it, except it's a 0/0 and has this ability. So, well, this is a very exciting and new commander that basically is a kind of a... not a clone, but like a changeable creature based on what it exiles, and of course it can have a massive amount of power. So when it comes to our strategy and how we're going to win, well, our strategy is that we're going to get the right creature cards into our graveyard so that Mimeoplasm can exile them, and yeah, we're going to exile a certain number, and with that number, well, we're going to win by using a dastardly strategy that some players out there maybe won't be the biggest fans of, because, yeah, some players don't like a little thing called Infect, so we're going to be winning by making our Mimeoplasm evasive, and then being incredibly infectious and winning from there. Again, Mimeoplasm can very easily get to, well, 9 counters on itself, and that basically turns any Infect creature that we have into a one-shot KO on them. And, of course, that means, you know, a one-shot, potentially evasive KO, because we've got plenty of evasive creatures to turn Mimeoplasm into first, before then turning it into an Infect creature. Now, when it comes to how cheap it is to actually lose your friends, the budget for this deck, according to MTG Goldfish, is $28.75, so a very affordable way to lose your friends if that's what you're looking to do. And if you are looking to do so, make sure you check out that card list link in the description below. Now, with all that said, let's jump into the tactics, and starting off with our first tactic with small Infect creatures, because, well, these teeny tiny little creatures might not be all that scary, but, yeah, they kind of are scary, and especially scary when our commander comes a copy of them. Vector Asp is a great one, a 1/1 snake for a single mana. By paying a black mana, it gains Infect until end of turn, so if our commander is a copy of this, we can actually have it gain Infect, and then become something else, and it still retains that Infect. That being said, all the Infect creatures outside of that one are still amazing. Blight Mom is a great one too, a 1/1 with Infect Snake that costs 2 mana, and 2 mana to regenerate it, so we can actually protect our commander by regenerating it too. And keep in mind again, when our commander is swinging through, and it's a copy of this, after we already made it evasive, and we'll get to the evasive creatures here in a little bit, it is a 1/1, sure, just a 1/1, but again, if we have, say, 9 counters on it by exiling 3 creatures, that is a 10/10 creature coming through with Infect, and that is a one-shot KO on anyone. So very quickly for the rest of these, Flenzermite, 1/1 with Infect, that also has a lifelink, so yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Gain a ton of life too, on top of destroying your opponents. Necropede, whenever it's put in a grave from the battlefield, you can put a -1/-1 counter target creature. So yeah, sure, if you've got that, nice, but if not, just a 1/1 Infect. That's what we care about. Plague Sinner, this one is Infect and evasive. This is huge. This can just be a, oh, I exiled this with my commander and 2 other random things, and I just take you all out. 1/1 Flying Infect, love it. Phyrexian Digester, though, a 2/1 with Infect, so slightly more power, which is quite nice. Rotwolf, 2/1 with Infect on top of that. Whenever a creature dealt damage by it, this turn dies, and from the graveyard, you draw a card. Cool, but what we care about is really getting through. So, sure, if that happens, nice, but if not, better. Then we've got this one, Viridian Corruptor, enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact, and it's got Infect, so if we need to play it, destroy an artifact, we can. If not, Infect Graveyard Shenanigans. Blackleaf Goblin, haste and Infect. Swing with your commander right away. What is not to love about that? Surprise Infect? Yeah, you might have some friends leaving the table from that one. Core Prowler, a 2/2 Infect. When the graveyard from the battlefield, proliferate, so that's quite nice. Again, basically, again, hey, extra counters on things, and on top of that, if they have poison counters on them, get even more on them. Corpse Cur, a 2/2 Infect. When it enters the battlefield, return target creature card Infect from your graveyard to your hand. If you want to do that, that's great. If not, don't do it. Flesh Eater Imp, 2/2 Flying Infect. So again, yet another creature that has Flying and Infect. That is huge. But on top of that, sacrifice a creature ++1 till end of turn. This is massive because, yeah, you maybe get some other creatures into play, and if you need to sacrifice them, some extra ways to pump your commander, and also get creatures into your graveyard for your commander to actually become copies of when you need them. And finally, Tell Jalad Fallen, a 3/1 protection from artifacts, Infect. If we're playing against an artifact deck, great. It's a good way to protect ourselves from those, or yeah, get through on an artifact deck. But other than that, just a 3-1 Infect, that's all we really care about. Next up, tactic number 2. You might think we're done with Infect, but we're not done just yet because we've got some bigger Infect creatures, including Phyrexian Vat Mother. 4/5 Infect. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get a poison counter. Ouch! We don't really care all that much. We're going to take our opponents out well before they can take us out with our own poison counters. And again, with this having 4 power, that means we just need to exile 2 creatures from our graveyard with our commander to get to that 10 power, because again, 2 times 3 equals 6 counters, plus the 4 equals 10. There you go. Chained Throat Seeker 5/5 Infect can attack unless the defending player is poisoned. So here's the thing again. With our commander, if we have it as a copy of something else first and we attack, that doesn't matter at all, because then we can just change it to this after we've already attacked and gotten through. So yeah, that little part on there doesn't matter at all. Then there's Phyrexian Juggernaut 5/5 Infect, attacks each combat Fable. Again, we really don't care about that at all. Toxic Nim as well, a 4/1 Infect that we can also regenerate. This is a great target for our commander because again, it is now just an easier way to get to that 10 power, and also a way to protect it as well when we need to the regeneration. Next up, tactic number 3, Unblockability. Yeah, we've got some great creatures that are low to the ground, evasive, and yeah, we can get through with them for some other effects we'll talk about here in a little bit, but also our commanders becoming a copy of them can be huge because a very simple like Mistcloak Herald, just 1/1 for 1 mana Merfolk Warrior, can't be blocked. The phrase can't be blocked is massive because all of a sudden our commander comes a copy of it and we swing and our opponent goes, oh, well, I can't block that. And we're like, yep, yeah, you can't block it. Okay, it's through. Yeah, before combat damage is assigned, I switch it over to this Infect creature, and you're gone. Goodbye. Slitherblade, exact same thing, but it's a 1/2. Cool. Trainsaur Stalker, exact same thing, but it's a 1/1. Cool. Shoreline Looter, a 1/1 that can't be blocked. And on top of that, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card unless 7 more cards in your graveyard. Either way, for looting or just drawing cards, that's still very, very nice. And of course, early on looting can be great to set ourselves up to actually get the right cards in our graveyard. Suspicious Stowaway can't be blocked, deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. And then finally, Luziun, the Scholar General. We got a 1/3 Human Soldier for 4 mana. Horsemanship, which basically means unblockability. It can't be blocked except by creatures with horsemanship, which nothing has horsemanship, so it's basically just unblockable. And on top of that, when it deals combat to a player, you actually get to draw a card. So yes, this can be a great repeatable source of card advantage. On top of that, just a great target for our commander to become a copy of, because our commander is apparently riding a horse and it's unblockable. Moving on, though, let's talk about some discard outlets and ones that can really help us out getting the right creatures from our hand into our graveyard to set ourselves up for our commander to exile them and then become copies of them. Escape Artist is a great one for multiple reasons. First of all, it's unblockable. Literally just because of that already, it could just see a spot in the deck being, again, another unblockable target for our commander. But on top of that, pay a blue, discard a card from your hand, bring it back to its owner's hand. Now, the bouncing back to our hand is, that's okay. What we care about, though, is we can get this in play, utilize it, and actually discard cards we need in our graveyard. And at some point, maybe we can even discard this to get it in the graveyard, too. Then we got Ghostly Pilferer. This one's huge, too. 2/1 Spirit Rogue comes untapped. You can pay 2 if you do draw a card. That's nice. What really matters, though, is, discard a card. It can't be blocked this turn. And on top of that, sure, a card draw engine if opponents are casting spells from outside their hand. That's nice. So, Prosper fans out there, please keep casting your spells from exile. I'd appreciate that. Again, this is basically a way that is a free discard outlet and an unblockability outlet for us, too. Lawless Troll, a great option as well. 2/1 Trampling Zombie Troll. Discard a creature card, put a counter on this, pay a black, regenerate it. So if our commanders, they copy this, we can actually get more counters on our commander very easily. It's got Trample, which again is an evasion, but is a great way to get damage through, and we can actually regenerate to protect our commander too. Olivia's Dragoon, a 2/2, discard a card, give it flying until end of turn. So again, granting our commander flying until end of turn by making a copy of that, that can be great. Or, again, just a great discard outlet to get things in there. Cephalid Ink Shrouder, 2/1 Cephalid, discard a card from your hand, basically gives it Shroud, and also is unblockable too. So yeah, a great thing for our commander to become a copy of, or again, another great discard outlet just to have in play. Thalico Scout. 2/1 with Shadow, discard a card, bring it back to its owner's hand. So sure, again, early on, get it out there as a great discard outlet. Later on, though, we can actually have it as one of our targets for our commander to become a copy of, because Shadow equals unblockability, basically. If something else doesn't have shadow, it's like horsemanship, essentially. Nothing has horsemanship, nothing has shadow. It's going to be unblockable. Amoeba, again, another discard outlet that is evasive flying. Discard a card. Switch power and toughness. We really don't care too much about that, really. I mean, except for the fact that I guess with our commander, we could have slightly more power, but we're probably going to switch it to an Infect creature anyways. Prognostic Sphinx, yet another flyer that has discard outlet potential. We can discard a card and give it Hex from top turn and tap it whenever it attacks Scry 3, so some nice card selection there. Street Wraith, this is a free discard forest. Cycle away by paying 2 life. Who cares about life in commander? You got 40. Utilize it, right? Cycle this away, discard a card. To draw a card, discard this card, I should say. And then Swamp Walk, so it is unblockable against opponents who have swamps, which is a very popular color in Commander. So, yeah, your commander can just become an unblockable copy of this, basically for free. Moving on, miscellaneous value category. Yeah, this is a tactic where there are these different types of cards. I'm like, that's a heavy hitter, that's a heavy hitter, that's a heavy hitter. These all are massive cards for different reasons, but they can be game-changing plays. Wild Beastmaster is one of them, a 1/1 human shaman for 3 mana. Whenever it attacks, each other creature control gets +X until turn, where X is Wild Beastmaster's power. So if we make our commander a copy of this first, when we're swinging, we turn all of our creatures into, well, massive creatures, because we're going to have all of them in play get pumped a ton. Again, if our commander has, say, again, 9 counters on it, like the examples I've given so far have been, this is going to be a 10 power Wild Beastmaster commander when it's a copy of this. When we swing, everything else gets +10/+10, which is huge, especially again with all the Infect creatures we have that might be in play too, or all the unblockable creatures. That can just be a game-ending swing to take out everyone all at once. Speaking of which, Yahanni Undying Partisan, a 2/2 Aetherborn Vampire with haste. Whenever a creature opponent controls dies, put a counter on this. Sacrifice a creature, gains indestructible on a turn. This is huge for multiple reasons. Again, haste, a great way to swing their commander right away. Number 2, a great way to gain counters on this. Get it to be a huge creature. Or again, of our commander, if it's a copy of it. Yeah, when creatures get taken out, that's great. And on top of that, we can use that as a sacrifice outlet for our own creatures when we want them in our graveyard. And giving our commander indestructible can be absolutely massive to protect it. And then finally, a kind of cheat code with Infect with our commander, Raised by Giants. Here you go. Commander creatures you own have base power and toughness 10/10 or giants that are other types. This means that it does not matter literally how many counters your commander has on it, what its actual power is, because now your commander is just simply a 10/10. Meaning that if we can get it through with an evasive creature, essentially, and we can turn into an Infect creature, all of a sudden, yeah, we just hit and they're gone. Again, 10 power at the least, that's all we care about. 10 power Infect, opponents are gone. Moving on to card selection, though, and card advantage cards. And ones that can really help us out are ones that actually help us discard, too, like Occult Epiphany. Instant for X and a blue, draw X cards, discard X cards, make a 1/1 white spirit creature shown with flying for each card type among cards, discard this way. Yeah, the evasive, like little spirits are nice. That's not really care about too much. I mean, it's nice. It is nice. But again, draw X, discard X. Yes, please. Dig down into your deck, get the right creatures, and discard them into your graveyard. Read the Runes, very similar. Instant for X and a blue. Draw X cards for each card drawn this way. Discard a card unless you sacrifice a permanent. So yeah, if we've got creatures in play already that we actually want in our graveyard, great. Sacrifice those. Or discard the ones out of your hand that you need to as well. Pull for tomorrow, keep most of the cards, but discard one. So again, discard that one creature that you need in your graveyard for your commander to become a copy of. Dreadwing Scavenger, another great option for our commander to become. 2/2 Nightmare Bird with flying, so again, some evasion there. Whenever it enters or attacks, draw and discard a card. Threshold +1/+1, Death Touch. If there are 7 more cards in your graveyard, you're going to get to that point, obviously. But still, what really matters, again, is, hey, evasive and also, that attack trigger, essentially, that you can keep looting again and again and again, getting the right things into your graveyard. Frantic Search, free, draw, free, discard. Yeah, discard 2, draw 2, untap 3 lands. Lovely. Then we've got Horrid Shadow Spinner, a 2/3 with lifelink. So again, a way to pad our life total, which is nice when our commander's a copy of this. When it attacks, you can draw cards equal to its power if you do discard that many cards. Again, with our commander being a copy of this, is just a massive looting effect, essentially. Again, draw, say, 11 cards, discard 11 cards. It's not to love about that. Biting of Thas, a great way to take advantage of all our evasive creatures. Whenever a creature control deals combat to a player, you may draw a card. You can also force an opponent to attack into an unfavorable situation, too. Conspiracy, basically the first part of that. Creature you control deals combat to your opponent, draw a card. Violent Tumor, a great way to just set ourselves up the right creature. 2/2 Death Touch, which can be nice as a deterrent for an opponent, essentially, in a way. That being said, though, ETB, go get any card out of your library, put it right in your graveyard, you get the right creature. Again, that right evasive creature, that right infect creature, whatever it is, and just demolish your opponents. Final parting, a great tutor for us. Go get 2 cards, 1 goes in your hand, 1 goes in your graveyard, so yeah, set yourself up. Disciples of Gix, especially with this one, set yourself up. Enters the battlefield, go get 3 artifact cards, put in your graveyard, then shuffle. Here's the thing, we've got evasive creatures, we've got infect creatures with artifacts. Yeah, we're going to get the right things in our graveyards that we actually want our commander to become copies of. Next up, tactic, we have, mill. The mill tactic, where we're actually getting cards into our graveyard in another way. Again, outside of drawing, discarding, outside of sacrificing, outside of tutoring, you can also just mill and hit things off the top of our library. Eye Collector is a great card. Low to the ground, evasive creature, 1/1 flyer. Deals combination to a player. Each player mills 1. So yeah, again, another copy of this, for our commander is cool because, again, we just say, okay, it's evasive, great, good throw on an opponent that doesn't have any flyers or any reach creatures. Or yeah, just keep repeating and milling throughout the game very easily. Next up, pick Lock Prankster, a 1/3 flying vigilance, so stays back for defense as well. Also, we have an adventure spell, mill 4, put an instant sorcery or fey card milled into your hand. That can be quite nice for us as well. This one is hilarious though. Rampant Frogantua, a 3/3 frog with trample. +10/+10 for each player who's lost the game. Deals combination to player, you mill that many cards, but any land cards from the battlefield tapped. This can be a game-ending swing with our commander. Just again, if we take out any one of our opponents, just keep in mind, +10/+10. If our commander's a copy of this, that is absolutely massive trampling through. We've got so many ways to bump our commander, so many different ways to hit really hard. And of course, if we hit, mill a ton, get a lot of things in our graveyard to become copies of. And then also, ramp a ton of lands. What's not to love? Splinter Fright. Another great repeatable source of mill, though. Star Trample. Power toughs each equal the number of creature cards in your graveyard. That can be absolutely huge. On top of that, we give your upkeep, mill 2 cards. So repeatable mill for us. Speaking of which, Mind Rack Harpy, a 3/2 flyer. So again, evasive right there. At the beginning of combat on your turn, each player mills 3 cards. That can be absolutely huge. Again, just repeatable mill for ourselves. What's not to love? Next up, we've got some ramp to go over, and of course, first up, there's Wayfarer's Bauble. Pay 2 tap, sacrifice, get a basic land into play tapped. Moving on, Merrily Pixie, we've got a 2/2 flyer, so again, some evasion right there that can tap for 2 of our colors. And the evasion, again, is very nice when our commander comes a copy of it. Speaking of which, Ornithopter Paradise, again, it doesn't matter that's a 0/2. Just get through, then swap to an infect creature. And also, it is a great mana dork for us, taps for 1 mana of any color. Rampant Growth, very simple, very effective, too. Go get a basic land to play tapped. Sky Serpent Seeker, this is a brand new one that is huge. 1/1 flying Death Touch, that's quite nice. Again, evasive and Death Touchy. Exhaust for 4, basically kind of like an explosive vegetation, essentially. And you also get a counter on the creature. Cool. Then we've got Primal Growth. We can actually go get 1 basic land into play, untapped. But if we also kicked it by sacrificing creature, we get 2 instead. And again, sacrificing creature can be golden for this deck. It can be a great way to get a creature out, get in a graveyard, and then utilize it with our commander. Silkwing Scout, a 2/1 flyer that we can actually sacrifice for a 1 mana, essentially, to go get that basically in play tap. So, yeah, give me a Rampant Growth on the body, or just, again, a good evasive card that we can turn our commander into. Speaking of which, Yavimaya Dryad. Hey, who likes forests out there? A lot of commander players. For our commander's copy of this, it is evasive against any of those forest-loving players. Enters the battlefield, though, go get a forest put on battlefield tapped and target player's control. It's gonna be us. A Rixsmithy Slumbering Isle, a hilarious card for this deck. 12/12 Kraken, enters tap with 5 slumber counters on it. It's got a slumber counter, it's a land. When you cast a spell, you can move a slumber counter from it, and it taps for 2 mana. Now, basically, this is an explosive vegetation for us, kind of in a way, if we actually play it, because it is just, hey, 4 mana, taps for 2. Awesome, good for us. That being said, if we say have this in the graveyard and our commander comes a copy of it, our commander has no slumber counters on it because it didn't enter the battlefield as a copy of it. So all of a sudden, we just have a 12/12 commander plus however many counters we have on top of it. Good luck, opponents. Then we've got Caleb Inquisitive Prodigy, the adventure side of this. Investigate, get a land this turn. That's nice. Also, 3/4, Flying Vigilance, destroy some artifacts and that kind of stuff as well. Cool. What we care about is, again, basically ramp/evasive when actually we need that evasion aspect of it. Scourge Familiar, speaking of evasive, though, flying, discard a card, add black. I love this card. A free discard outlet for us. That also gives us mana to utilize, which is lovely. And of course, also, again, it is a flying target for us when our commander comes a copy of it. Finally, Beanstalk Giant, though, we can actually utilize the adventure to go get a basic land in a play tapped. or it's a star equal to the number of lands we control. That is huge. So again, if our commander is a copy of that, already starting off as a massive creature, plus those counters too. With our final tactic, though, let's go over some great lands. First up, Rogue's Passage. Taps for a colorless, pay 4, tap target creature can't be blocked this turn. Yeah, a great way to just say, hey, well, I don't have any evasive creatures, actually. Well, commander, become a copy of that infect creature, and my land will make it so that you just take out that opponent. Yay! Definitely Coliseum, another great card, though. Taps for a blue, 1 damage to us. Oh no, 1 damage. It's commander, you got 40 life, you're okay. Pay a blue, tap, sacrifice it. Target player draws 3, then discards 3. Only if you got 7 more cards in your graveyard, you're gonna have 7 more cards. You got plenty of ways to get cards in your graveyard, and this is a great way to, again, basically have a massive looting effect off of a land to get the right cards in your graveyard, and yeah, to draw some good cards. Now to wrap things up, though, again, Mimeoplasm Revered One can be built in a lot of different ways, but the way that I'm building it very well might help you lose your friends if that's what you're looking to do. I don't know why you're looking to lose your friends, but if you are, congratulations. Here's a great way to do it. Evasive, Infect, fun times. That can happen really, really quickly. Yeah, take your friends out and take out any potential of gaining any new ones when they see, what's going on with this deck. And with that, this episode is come to a close. Make sure you comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.